Commander Jake Murphy floated through the corridors of the U.S. Valkyrie. His magnetic boots kept him steady as the ship drifted through the empty black of space. Another quiet day on patrol duty. At least, that's what he thought. The bridge doors slid open with a soft hiss. Jake pushed himself inside and grabbed his command chair. Around him, his crew worked at their stations. Everything looked normal. The stars outside the windows didn't move. Space never changed much out here. Lieutenant Amy Torres turned in her seat. Her face showed worry. Jake had worked with Amy for 3 years. When she looked worried, something was wrong. "Commander, we have something strange on the comm channels," Amy said. Her fingers danced over her console. "It's not human. It's not from any ship we know." Jake pulled himself closer to Amy's station. "Show me," he said. Amy brought up the signal on her screen. Jake saw waves of energy moving across the display. The pattern was all wrong. Human signals looked smooth and regular. This signal jumped and stuttered like nothing he'd seen before. "Computer says it's a distress signal," Amy continued. The language database found a match. "It's Zephyrian." Jake felt his stomach tighten. Humans had only met Zephyrians twice before. They were peaceful traders who stayed far from Earth space. If they were calling for help, something bad had happened. "Can you translate it?" Jake asked. Amy nodded and pressed more buttons. After a moment, words appeared on the screen. 3 simple words that made Jake's blood run cold. "Help. Dying. Please." The bridge went quiet. Every crew member had stopped working to stare at the message. In all his years in space, Jake had never seen an alien distress call. Humans usually kept to themselves, and aliens did the same. "Where's it coming from?" Jake asked. "The Kepler 442 system," Amy replied. "That's Zephyrian home space, about 3,000 light years from here." Jake moved to his command chair and strapped himself in. His mind raced through the regulations. Earth Command needed to know about this. Alien distress calls were beyond his authority to handle alone. "Open a channel to Earth Command," Jake ordered. "Priority 1. The main screen flickered to life. After a few seconds, Admiral Linda Rodriguez appeared. Her gray hair was pulled back tight, and her uniform was perfect even in the middle of the night on Earth. "Commander Murphy," the Admiral said. "This better be important." "It is, Admiral," Jake replied. He sent her the signal data. "We've received an alien distress call. Zephyrian origin. They're asking for help." Admiral Rodriguez studied the information. Her face grew serious as she read. Jake watched her eyes narrow. He knew that look. She was thinking about something big. "Commander, I'm sending you coordinates for a rendezvous point," she said after a long pause. "I'm deploying the entire 3rd Fleet for this. 12 ships total." Jake couldn't hide his surprise. 12 warships for a rescue mission. That seemed like too much firepower for helping peaceful traders. "Admiral, is that necessary?" Jake asked. "The Zephyrians aren't hostile. They're probably just having mechanical problems or—" "The signal includes more data," Commander Rodriguez interrupted. "Our deep analysis shows something else. There's a massive object heading for their homeworld. Asteroid-sized. Impact in less than 72 hours. Now Jake understood. An asteroid that big would destroy everything on the planet. Billions of Zephyrians would die. The warships weren't for fighting. They were for destroying or moving the asteroid. "We'll be ready, Admiral," Jake said. Rodriguez nodded. "One more thing, Commander. The Zephyrians don't know much about us. They've only seen our merchant ships. They have no idea what our military can do." Jake knew what she meant. Among the few alien species humans had met, Earth had a reputation. They called humans Deathworlders because Earth's environment would kill most aliens. High gravity, radiation, extreme weather, dangerous wildlife. Humans thrived where others died. "Understood, Admiral. We'll try not to scare them too much," Jake said. "Just save their lives, Commander. The rest will sort itself out." Rodriguez cut the connection. Jake turned to his crew. Every face showed determination. They had trained for combat, but saving innocent lives, that was even better. "You heard the Admiral," Jake announced. "Set course for the rendezvous point. Maximum speed. We have a planet to save." Captain Ryan Foster stood on the observation deck of the U.S. Phoenix. Outside the reinforced windows, he watched 11 other warships gather in formation. Each ship was a masterpiece of human engineering. Dark gray hulls bristled with weapons. Fusion engines glowed blue in the darkness. The Phoenix was the biggest ship in the Third Fleet. As flagship, she carried the most advanced technology Earth could produce. Her hull could survive direct nuclear blasts. Her weapons could crack asteroids in half. Foster had commanded her for 5 years, but he still felt pride when he looked at her systems. "All ships reporting ready, Captain," came a voice behind him. Foster turned to see his operations officer, Lieutenant Kyle Brooks. The young man held a datapad with the fleet status. Every ship showed green lights. They were ready to jump. "Good work, Lieutenant. Tell all captains to meet in the conference room," Foster ordered. 10 minutes later, 11 holographic figures stood around the Phoenix's meeting table. Each captain commanded their own warship. Foster knew them all by reputation. Lisa Chung of the U.S. Thunder was famous for her aggressive tactics. Hal Martins of the U.S. Hellfire had fought pirates near Jupiter. The others were equally skilled. "Thank you all for coming," Foster began. He activated the central display. A star map appeared showing their destination. "As you know, we're responding to a Zephyrian distress call. Our mission is simple: destroy or divert an asteroid before it hits their homeworld." Captain Chung leaned forward. Her hologram flickered slightly. "Ryan, why send 12 warships for one rock? The Thunder alone could handle an asteroid." Foster zoomed the display on the asteroid. "Because this isn't natural. Look at the trajectory data." The captains studied the information. Several made surprised sounds. The asteroid's path showed clear signs of artificial changes. Something had pushed it toward the Zephyrian planet on purpose. "That's an attack," Captain Martinez growled. "Someone wants the Zephyrians dead." "Exactly," Foster confirmed. "We don't know who or why. That's why we're going in full strength. We might be flying into a trap." The room grew quiet. Each captain understood the stakes. This wasn't just a rescue mission anymore. It might be their first contact with a hostile alien force. "I want battle formations from the moment we exit jump space," Foster continued. "Shields up, weapons hot. We protect the Zephyrians and stop that asteroid." Questions. Captain Sophia Ramirez from the U.S. Storm raised her hand. "What about the Zephyrians themselves? They don't know much about human military power. We might scare them." Foster had thought about this too. "We'll deal with that after we save their lives. Better they fear us and live than trust us and die." The captains nodded agreement. They spent the next hour planning approach vectors and attack patterns. Each ship had a role. The Thunder and Hellfire would lead the assault. The Storm and U.S. Lightning would provide cover. The other ships would form a defensive screen. After the meeting ended, Foster found his science officer on the bridge. Chief Science Officer Maria Gonzalez was bent over her console, frowning at the data. "Something wrong, Maria?" Foster asked. She looked up, her dark eyes troubled. "Captain, I've been analyzing the asteroid composition. It's not natural rock. The density is all wrong. There's metal inside, maybe machinery." "A weapon," Foster guessed. "Possibly. Or a ship disguised as an asteroid. Either way, someone put serious effort into this attack." Maria pulled up more data. "The energy readings are strange too. I've never seen patterns like these." Foster studied the information. His years of experience told him this mission would be harder than expected. But that's why they brought 12 ships. "Keep analyzing," he ordered. "I want to know everything about that rock before we get there." He moved to the command chair and strapped in. Around him, the bridge crew prepared for the jump. In a few minutes, they'd tear a hole in space itself and travel thousands of light years. The thought still amazed him sometimes. All ships signal ready, Brooks reported. Jump drives charge. Foster took a deep breath. Whatever waited in Zephyrian space, they'd be ready. All ships, this is Phoenix. Begin jump countdown. Let's go save some lives. The human fleet burst out of jump space like thunder breaking silence. 12 warships appeared in perfect formation around the Zephyrian homeworld. Their arrival sent ripples through space itself. Captain Foster gripped his chair as the Phoenix stabilized. Jump travel always felt like being turned inside out. His stomach settled as normal space returned around them. Through the bridge windows, he saw a beautiful blue-green planet below. Zephyr looked peaceful from up here. Contact. Lieutenant Brooks shouted. Multiple ships near the asteroid. They're not Zephyrian. Foster's training kicked in. Battle stations. All hands to combat positions. Red lights flashed through the Phoenix. Crew members ran to their posts. Weapon systems powered up with a deep hum. The other human ships did the same, their hulls glowing as shields activated. Captain, incoming transmission. Amy Torres announced. It's from the planet. Put it through, Foster ordered. The main screen flickered to life. An alien face appeared. Blue scales, large dark eyes, and a thin mouth. This was Foster's first time seeing the Zephyrian in person. The alien looked terrified. Unknown vessels, this is Ambassador Velnesh of Zephyr. Are you humans? The translator made his voice sound worried. This is Captain Ryan Foster of Earth's Third Fleet. We received your distress signal. We're here to help. The Zephyrian's eyes widened. His mouth opened and closed without words. Behind him, other Zephyrians pointed at something off-screen. They seemed shocked. Humans brought. Warships. Velnash finally managed. But we only asked for help with the asteroid. Before Foster could explain, the tactical display screamed warnings. Ships were decloaking around the asteroid. Big ships. Battlecruisers with angular hulls and glowing red weapons. Foster counted at least 8 of them. Those are Korvax Empire vessels, Maria Gonzalez reported. Captain, I'm reading massive weapon signatures. Foster had heard of the Korvax. Every human captain knew about them. They conquered worlds and enslaved entire species. If they were here, the Zephyrians were in serious trouble. Ambassador, get your people to shelters now, Foster commanded. We'll handle this. A new transmission cut through the channel. The screen split to show a different alien, gray skin, 4 arms, and burning yellow eyes. This creature radiated menace. I am War Master Thargos of the Korvax Empire, the alien growled. This world belongs to us now. Leave immediately, or be destroyed. Foster felt anger rise in his chest. These Korvax thought they could murder billions of innocent people. They were about to learn why humans had survived on a death world. War Master Thargos, I'm Captain Foster of the Earth Alliance. You're going to withdraw that asteroid weapon and leave this system. This is your only warning. Thargos laughed. The sound was like breaking glass. You dare threaten the Korvax? What can 12 primitive ships do against the might of our empire? Ambassador Velnish, Foster said, turning back to the Zephyrian. You might want to close your eyes for this part. The Zephyrian looked confused. I don't understand. You're outnumbered. How can you? All ships, weapons free. Engage the Korvax fleet. Foster's voice carried across the comm channels. Show them what Deathworlders can do. Space erupted into chaos. The human ships moved like predators unleashed. The Thunder fired first, nuclear missiles streaming from her tubes. The Hellfire's railguns sent tungsten rods at near light speed. The other ships joined in, filling space with death. The Korvax weren't ready. Their first battlecruiser took 6 direct hits before its shields even activated. The ship split in half, venting atmosphere and bodies into space. On the Phoenix's bridge, Foster watched his crew work with deadly efficiency. Every human had grown up on a world that tried to kill them daily. They treated combat like another day surviving Earth's dangers. Their shields are adapting, Maria warned. But I'm sending frequency modulations to all ships. That should, yes, shields are failing. The Zephyrians watched in stunned silence. Their peaceful species had never seen warfare like this. The humans fought with controlled fury, their ships dancing through enemy fire like it was nothing. War Master Thargos appeared on screen again. His yellow eyes now showed fear. What are you? No species fights like this. Foster smiled coldly. We're humans, and you threatened innocent lives. That was your mistake. The battle raged across Zephyrian space. Captain Foster watched his tactical display as human ships wove through enemy fire. The Korvax had recovered from their initial shock, but it was too late. The humans fought like demons. Fighter squadrons, launch. Foster commanded. Bay doors opened along the Phoenix's hull. Dozens of small fighters poured out like angry wasps. Lieutenant Danny Wright led the first squadron, his fighter diving straight at the asteroid weapon. This is right. Following attack pattern Alpha. Let's crack this egg. Danny pushed his fighter to maximum speed. The small craft shook as he dodged defensive fire from the asteroid. Behind him, his squadron formed a tight V formation. These pilots had trained in Earth's atmosphere, fighting gravity and storms. Space combat felt easy by comparison. On the Thunder, Captain Lisa Chung grinned as her weapons tore through another Korvax ship. Target their engines. Don't let them run. The Thunder's crew worked like a machine. Every shot hit its mark. The Korvax battlecruiser tried to turn, but its engines exploded in blue flame. The ship spun helplessly as secondary explosions ripped through its hull. Meanwhile, Captain Paul Martinez brought the Hellfire into close range. His ship's railguns could punch through anything at this distance. Fire at will. Show them what humans are made of. The Hellfire's guns spoke with thunderous force. Each shot left glowing holes in Korvax armor. The enemy ship tried to return fire, but human shields adapted faster than Korvax weapons could adjust. Back on the Phoenix, Tactical Officer Nickel Barnes studied the asteroid weapon. Captain, I found the control nodes. There are 6 of them, spread across the surface. If we hit them all at once, the weapon dies. Foster finished. Send coordinates to all ships. We need synchronized strikes. Nickel's fingers flew over her console. Data streamed to every human vessel. Within seconds, 6 ships had targeting locks on the control nodes. The Zephyrians watched everything from their planet. Ambassador Velnash stood in his command center, surrounded by his staff. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. How do they move so fast? One Zephyrian asked. Their reaction times are impossible. Look at their fighters, another pointed out. They're flying through radiation fields that would kill us instantly. Velnash remembered the rumors about humans. Stories said they came from a Deathworld, a planet so dangerous that most species couldn't survive there. He was beginning to understand what that meant. In space, the Korvax were learning the same lesson. War Master Thargos screamed orders from his flagship, but his fleet was falling apart. Human ships hit harder and moved faster than anything in his experience. Concentrate fire on their flagship, Thargos commanded. All weapons on the Phoenix. 6 Korvax ships turned their guns on Foster's vessel. Energy beams and plasma bolts hammered the Phoenix's shields. The whole ship shook under the assault. Shields at 60%, Brooks reported. They're focusing everything on us. Foster gripped his chair. Good. Let them try. All ships, execute synchronized strike on my mark. The other human captains confirmed readiness. 6 ships lined up their shots while the rest provided cover fire. Danny Wright's fighters cleared the path, destroying defensive turrets on the asteroid. Mark, Foster shouted. 6 human ships fired at once. Nuclear missiles, railgun rounds, and particle beams hit the control node simultaneously. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the asteroid began to crack. Blue light poured from the fissures. The whole weapon shuddered as internal systems overloaded. Energy discharges arced across its surface like lightning. "It's working," Maria reported. "The weapon is destabilizing." Fargos saw what was happening. His carefully planned genocide was falling apart. All ships retreat. Emergency jump. But Foster wasn't done. Target their jump drives. Don't let them escape. Human gunners switched targets with practiced ease. Precision shots disabled Korvax engines before they could charge. One by one, enemy ships found themselves trapped in the system. The asteroid weapon finally exploded. The blast lit up space like a new sun. When the light faded, only debris remained. The threat to Zephyr was gone. "Sir, the Korvax fleet is requesting terms," Torres announced. "They're surrendering." The explosion's aftermath brought silence to space. Where the asteroid weapon once threatened billions, only glowing debris remained. But the victory came with unexpected consequences. Captain Foster watched his instruments go crazy. Strange energy readings filled every screen. The asteroid's destruction had released something more than just radiation. Waves of exotic particles washed over every ship in the system. "Captain, I'm reading massive E-impulses," Maria Gonzalez reported. "Whatever was in that asteroid, it's affecting everyone's systems." Around the Phoenix, lights flickered on Korvax ships. One by one, their engines died. Their weapons went dark. The mighty warships that had terrorized this sector now drifted helplessly through space. "Sir, the Zephyrian orbital stations are going dark too," Brooks added. "Their life support is failing." Foster jumped to his feet. "Status of our systems." "All green, Captain," Nickel Barnes confirmed. "The pulse isn't affecting us." Foster nodded. He should have expected this. Human technology was built to survive Earth's magnetic storms, solar flares, and radiation bursts. What crippled alien ships was just another Tuesday for human engineers. On the planet below, Ambassador Velnash watched his screens go black. Emergency power kicked in, but most systems stayed dead. He turned to his staff in the dim light. "Contact the humans," he ordered. "They seem unaffected. We need their help." In space, the situation grew worse. One Korvax ship began spinning out of control, its crew unable to restart their engines. Another vented atmosphere from a dozen hull breaches that their repair systems couldn't fix. War Master Fargos appeared on the Phoenix's emergency channel. His proud bearing was gone, replaced by desperation. "Human Captain, our life support is failing. My crew will die in hours. I request aid." Foster felt no sympathy for the Korvax leader, but he couldn't watch thousands die. "All human ships begin rescue operations. Priority goes to ships with failing life support." "Captain, are we really saving the Korvax?" Lieutenant Brooks asked quietly. "They just tried to commit genocide." "We're better than them," Foster replied. "That's the point." The human fleet split into rescue teams. The U.S. Storm moved to the nearest Zephyrian station. Captain Sofia Ramirez watched her crew suit up for EVA work. The station's artificial gravity had failed, but that didn't bother humans who trained in zero-G. "Remember, Zephyrians are fragile," she told her teams. "Gentle touches only. What feels like a pat on the back to us might break their bones." Chief Petty Officer Mike Coleman led the first boarding party. He pushed through the station's dead airlock and found Zephyrians floating helplessly. Their blue scales had turned pale from oxygen deprivation. "Got survivors here," Mike reported, bringing portable life support online. The human rescue teams worked with incredible efficiency. They moved through toxic atmospheres that would kill most species. They lifted debris that should have required machines. They worked for hours without rest, their bodies adapted to extreme endurance. On a crippled Korvax battlecruiser, Ensign Emma Davis found something strange. The ship's commander, a four-armed alien named Koraxtel, was trying to restart their engines manually. He looked up as Emma entered, his yellow eyes wide with fear. "Stay back, human. I know what you are. Deathworlders. You'll kill us all." Emma raised her hands peacefully. I'm here to help. Your air is running out. She moved to the engineering console. The Korvax text was foreign, but the principles were the same. Emma had grown up fixing tractors on her family's farm in Kansas. Alien tech wasn't that different. There, she said as lights flickered on. Your backup life support should work now. Korax-Tel stared at her. You helped us, but we tried to destroy the Zephyrians. We are your enemies. Were, Emma corrected. Right now, you're just people who need help. Across the system, similar scenes played out. Humans worked in conditions that terrified other species. They treated hard vacuum like a minor inconvenience. They ignored radiation levels that sent other species running. They lifted weights that should have been impossible. The Zephyrians watched in amazement. Vel-Nash received reports from every rescued station. The humans weren't just warriors. They were protectors. Commander Jake Murphy wiped sweat from his forehead as he carried another Zephyrian to safety. The U.S. Valkyrie had docked with the largest orbital station, where thousands of aliens needed help. His crew had been working for 6 straight hours without break. The Zephyrians weighed almost nothing in the station's failed gravity. Jake could carry 2 at once, but he was careful not to hurt them. Their thin bones broke easily compared to human skeletons hardened by Earth's heavy gravity. Medical bay is full, Commander, reported Nurse Betty Chen. We're setting up emergency treatment in the cargo hold. Good work, Jake replied. He set down his passengers gently. The Zephyrians looked at him with their large dark eyes, still shocked that humans could work in these conditions. Across the system, the rescue operation continued. Dr. Ellen Kim aboard the Phoenix had turned the ship's gym into a medical center. She treated injuries from a dozen different species, learning alien anatomy as she worked. Doctor, this Korvax has severe radiation burns, her assistant called out. Ellen hurried over. The 4-armed alien lay still, his gray skin blistered and raw. Radiation levels that barely bothered humans had nearly killed him. Start with anti-rad treatment, Ellen ordered. Then synthetic skin grafts. We'll adapt our burn protocols for his physiology. The Korvax warrior opened his eyes weakly. Why? Why do you heal your enemies? Because that's what doctors do, Ellen replied simply. Now hold still. This might sting. On the U.S. Thunder, Captain Lisa Chang made a decision that would change everything. Her crew had rescued 300 Korvax from a dying battlecruiser. Now those warriors sat in her cargo bay, unsure if they were prisoners or guests. Open the bay doors, Chan ordered. Let them see their wounded are being treated. The transparent barriers slid open. Korvax warriors looked through to see humans treating their injured comrades with the same care they showed the Zephyrians. One young Korvax soldier started to cry, something their culture usually forbade. In the Zephyrian Command Center, Ambassador Vel-Nash received reports from every rescue site. His assistant, Zefka, compiled the numbers with growing amazement. Ambassador, the humans have saved over 50,000 lives so far, Zefka reported. They're working in conditions that would kill us instantly. Some have been in hard vacuum for hours. Vel-Nash studied the data. What about their own casualties? None reported. Minor injuries only. They seem indestructible. The ambassador thought about the old stories. Legends spoke of Deathworlders, beings from planets so hostile that evolution made them nearly unstoppable. He'd thought they were myths. Now he watched humans prove the stories true. Meanwhile, the Phoenix had become a coordination center. Foster directed rescue operations while his crew handled emergencies. Every few minutes brought new challenges. Captain, we have a problem, Maria reported. A Zephyrian medical transport lost power near the planet's moon. They have critical patients aboard. Who's closest? Foster asked. The Hellfire, but they're already overloaded with rescues. Foster thought quickly. Tell Martinez to transfer his passengers to us. We'll make room. As the Hellfire approached to transfer survivors, something remarkable happened. Korvax and Zephyrian refugees found themselves side by side in human ships. Ancient enemies forced to share space while humans saved them both. On the Hellfire's deck, a young Zephyrian child approached a wounded Korvax soldier. The warrior tensed, expecting attack even from a child. Instead, the little Zephyrian offered him water. "The humans say we should help each other," the child explained simply. The Korvax took the water with shaking hands. Around them, humans continued their work, treating everyone equally. The message was clear. In the face of disaster, old hatred seemed pointless. War Master Thargos watched from the Phoenix's medical bay as human doctors saved his best warriors. His empire had conquered dozens of worlds through fear and strength. Yet these humans, who could have destroyed them all, chose mercy instead. "I don't understand," he said to Dr. Kim as she checked his injuries. "You possess the power to rule the galaxy. Why show compassion?" Ellen smiled. "Because power without compassion is just tyranny. We learned that the hard way on Earth." The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with nervous energy. Representatives from 40 different species had gathered for an emergency session. The topic on everyone's mind was humanity and what happened at Zephyr. Council Prime Athex called for order. The tall, thin alien had led the council for decades. His 6 eyes scanned the room as silence fell. "We gather today to discuss the human intervention in the Zephyr system," Athex announced. "Many of you have expressed concerns about their actions." The Altarian delegate stood first. Their species looked like crystal formations that could speak. The humans brought excessive military force to a simple rescue mission. They turned humanitarian aid into a display of power. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Several delegates nodded their various appendages. Fear of humanity had been growing since first contact. The Zephyr incident only made it worse. Ambassador Carl Peterson sat in the human section, listening carefully. He'd been Earth's voice in the council for 10 years. He knew this meeting would be difficult. The Vorthan delegate spoke next. "We've all heard the reports. Humans work in conditions that kill other species. They lift weights that need machines. They fight with terrifying efficiency. How can we trust such dangerous beings?" More delegates voiced similar fears. The Etherians worried about human aggression. The Quellians feared their physical strength. Even peaceful species like the Harmonics expressed concern. Finally, Athex turned to Peterson. "Ambassador, the floor is yours. Please address the Council's concerns." Carl stood slowly. He looked around the room, meeting as many eyes as possible. "Distinguished delegates, I understand your fears. Yes, humans are different. Yes, we come from a harsh world. But let me ask you something." He paused for effect. "When Zephyr sent their distress signal, who answered? When the Korvax attacked, who stood in defense? When thousands needed rescue from deadly conditions, who saved them?" The chamber fell quiet. Carl continued. "You focus on our strength, but ignore how we use it. We brought warships to Zephyr, yes, but we used them to save lives, not take them. We could have destroyed the Korvax fleet. Instead, we rescued them alongside the Zephyrians." "But you're too powerful," the Altarian delegate interrupted. "What happens when you decide to conquer instead of protect?" Before Carl could respond, another voice spoke up. Ambassador Velnesh of Zephyr had entered the chamber. The blue-scaled alien moved to the speaking platform. "May I address the council?" Velnesh asked. Athex nodded permission. The Zephyrian turned to face the assembly. 3 days ago, my world faced extinction. The Korvax sent an asteroid to destroy us. Billions would have died." His voice grew stronger. "The humans came without hesitation. They fought the Korvax, destroyed the weapon, and then saved everyone, including their enemies." Velnesh pointed to the Altarian delegate. "You say they brought excessive force. I say they brought exactly what was needed. You fear their strength. I thank the stars for it. Without the humans, my species would be extinct." Another unexpected voice joined the discussion. War Master Thargos limped into the chamber, supported by a human medical officer. The Korvax warrior had been brought as a witness. "I led the attack on Zephyr," Thargos admitted. "The humans defeated my fleet easily. They could have killed us all. By our own laws of war, they had that right." He paused. "Instead, they saved my warriors. They healed our wounded. They showed mercy we never would have given." The chamber erupted in shocked whispers. A Korvax defending humans was unthinkable. Thargos raised his 4 arms for silence. "You fear them because they're powerful. But power isn't the threat. It's how that power is used. The humans use their strength to protect, not conquer. They could rule the galaxy through fear. Instead, they choose to serve through compassion." Carl stepped forward again. "We don't ask for your trust immediately. We ask for the chance to earn it. Judge us by our actions, not your fears." The debate continued for hours, but the tide had turned. The testimony from Zephyr and even the Korvax carried weight that fear couldn't overcome. Years passed since the Zephyr incident. The galaxy had changed in ways no one expected. Captain Ryan Foster, now Admiral Foster, stood on the bridge of a new ship. This wasn't just a human vessel anymore. The bridge crew included Zephyrians, Korvax, and 3 other species. "Admiral, the training exercise is ready," reported Commander Veltash, son of Ambassador Velnash. The young Zephyrian had joined the Interspecies Defense Force 2 years ago. Foster smiled. "Begin the simulation. Let's see how the new crews perform." The Interspecies Defense Force was Foster's creation. After Zephyr, many species wanted to work with humans. They realized that having Deathworlder allies meant survival in a dangerous universe. The force combined human resilience with alien technology and different species' unique abilities. On the planet below, the Zephyr Academy trained new recruits. Human instructors taught survival skills to aliens who'd never faced real hardship. It was tough but necessary work. Sergeant Amy Torres, promoted after the Zephyr incident, watched her mixed class attempt an obstacle course. "Remember, the goal isn't to match human performance. It's to push your own limits." A young Korvax warrior struggled with a climbing wall. Beside him, a human recruit named Jack Wilson offered advice. "Use your 4 arms for balance. You've got advantages we don't." The Korvax succeeded on his next attempt. Such cooperation would have been impossible before Zephyr. Now, former enemies trained side by side. In the council chambers on Haven Station, Ambassador Carl Peterson met with his counterparts. The Galactic Council had approved the Defense Force unanimously. Even the fearful Altarians had joined after pirates attacked their colonies and human responders saved them. "The quarterly report shows excellent progress," Velnash announced. "Response times to distress calls have improved by 60%. War Master Thargos, now a Defense Force general, added his own report. "The Korvax Empire has officially ended expansion policies. We're redirecting military resources to protection duties." Carl nodded with satisfaction. "And the educational exchange. 300 human children studying on alien worlds," a harmonic delegate chimed. 4,000 alien youth on Earth, though we did have to modify Earth facilities significantly. Your world's environment remains challenging." Everyone chuckled. Earth's status as a death world hadn't changed, but now it was a source of pride rather than fear. The planet that created humanity's strength had become a symbol of protection for the galaxy. The changes went beyond military cooperation. Human medical knowledge, developed on a harsh world, revolutionized galactic healthcare. Alien technology improved human spacecraft. Cultural exchanges flourished as species learned from each other. Captain Lisa Chung, now commanding a mixed-species crew, reported from the frontier. "We've encountered a new species called the Solathi. They're being threatened by raiders, requesting permission to intervene." Foster approved immediately. "Standard protocol. Protect the innocent, offer the aggressors a chance to withdraw. Show them what the Defense Force represents." The legacy of Zephyr lived on in every mission. When the Solathi sent their distress call, They found not just humans responding, but a united force of multiple species. The raiders fled without firing a shot, terrified by the reputation of the Deathworlder-led alliance. In his retirement, Jake Murphy wrote memoirs about that first distress call. "We thought we were just saving one world," he typed. "We ended up changing the galaxy." His book became required reading at the Academy. Young recruits of all species learned how a single act of compassion had reshaped civilization. The humans' willingness to risk everything for strangers had inspired others to do the same. Foster retired years later, but not before seeing his vision complete. The Interspecies Defense Force had become the galaxy's primary peacekeeping organization. When someone sent an SOS signal, they knew help would come, and leading that help would be humans, the Deathworlders who chose to be protectors. The chaos humanity brought to Zephyr had indeed changed everything. But it wasn't destructive chaos. It was the chaos of transformation, the disruption needed to build something better. The galaxy had learned that sometimes the most dangerous species makes the best guardians. And somewhere in the void, when a distress signal pierced the darkness, the Deathworlder fleet would answer the call.